Good morning. Chapter 10, Lesson 5 is on page 450. This is a special video. We're doing problem number 73. We did 3 other problems prior, but number 73, the last one for homework, is a bear. So let's get started with 73. Go slow and we'll be able to figure it out. Looks like 3z squared over z to the fourth minus 4 plus 5z squared minus 3 divided by 2z to the fourth plus z to the second minus 6. So we're going to see if we can factor some stuff out. And we know automatically that z to the fourth minus 4 turns out to be z squared minus 2 times z squared plus 2. Turned out to be a binomial square, so we could use that to be z squared minus 2 times z squared plus 2. Now let's take a look at 2z to the fourth plus z squared minus 6. Well, that's going to give us an a is equal to 2, a b is equal to 1, and a c is equal to minus 6. So let's put that up here. We have a minus 12, we have a plus 1, and I guess our factors should be a 4 and a negative 3. And we're going to be using a 4z squared and a minus 3z squared. So let's put those into our box up here. We have 2z to the fourth minus 6. We have a plus 4z squared, and we have a minus 3z squared. So let's see if we can come up with the factors. 2z to the fourth and 4z squared. What's common is 2z squared, which defines the top as z squared, and a plus 2. That gives our lower left side having to be a minus 3. And as our final check, a minus 3 times a plus 2 is a minus 6. So 2z to the fourth plus z squared minus 6, that turns out to be factored as z squared plus 2 and 2z squared minus 3. So our problem now looks like 3, I'm going to need more space, looks like 3z squared divided by z squared minus 2 times z squared plus 2 plus 5 over z squared minus 3, 5z squared minus 3 divided by z squared plus 2 and 2z squared minus 3. And these we got from the previous page. We factored out the denominators. We've got to find an LCM. And our LCM turns out to be z squared minus 2, z squared plus 2, and 2z squared minus 3. Remember, we're using all 3 terms. We're using this term that's in common, this term that's in common, it shows up there, and then we're going to use this term as well. So we ended up with all 3 terms as our least common multiple. So our least common multiple has to be all 3 of those terms. So let's take our first term, which is 3z squared divided by z squared minus 2 times z squared plus 2. And we're going to have our LCD being exactly the same as we have up here. So we're going to multiply the top and the bottom by 2z squared minus 3 times 2z squared minus 3. So now our denominator for this first term is all exactly the same. And we've just multiplied it by 1 over 1. Let's tackle the second one. 5z squared minus 3 divided by z squared plus 2 times 2z squared minus 3. But it has to have the same denominator too, so we're going to do a z squared minus 2 and a z squared minus 2 in the numerator and denominator. So we're multiplying this second term by 1 over 1. And you can see our denominator now is what we needed to have as our least common multiple. So we end up with, let me use a ruler, our denominator as z squared minus 2, z squared plus 2, and 2z squared minus 3. I'm going to have to make my ruler a lot longer, my line a lot longer. And now we're going to have to distribute on the top and do a FOIL on the right side. So we're going to go 3z squared times 2z squared, which is 6z to the fourth, minus 9z squared. All I did was I multiplied these two and these two. And now we're going to have to FOIL the second part, plus 5z to the fourth minus 10z squared minus 3z squared plus 6. So I did on this second set of terms, I FOILed first, outside, inside, and last. I'm not trying to confuse you. And we're almost done. Incredible as this looks. We're going to, let me get my ruler again. It's not going to be quite as bad now. Our denominator still stays the same. We have z squared minus 2, z squared plus 2, and 2z squared minus 3. And let's see if we can combine like terms now. We have 6z to the fourth and 5z to the fourth in the numerator. That gives us 11z to the fourth. Minus 9z squared minus 10z squared minus 3z squared is minus 22z squared. And we have a plus 6 left over. So let's review really fast. We had to find the least common multiple, but first we had to do some factoring. Our least common multiple was z squared minus 4, z squared minus 2, z squared plus 2, and 2z squared minus 3. We turned our denominators into those same values. We did some multiplication, we did some FOILing, we combined like terms, and finally when we are done, this huge problem, number 73, that took 2 pages, comes out to be the solution shown in green. This was definitely a complicated problem. We definitely had to go slow, and we definitely had to make sure we made no mistakes. Thanks for listening, and thanks for hanging in there on this problem. We'll see you all tomorrow.